Hello, people. Kai here, man. Today we have a very special guest.
Good.
Oshe, introduce yourself, bro.
Yes, yes, yes. You know who it is. Oh, Shay, the outlandish one. What's going on, Kai? What's going on, people?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm good life-wise. I'm pretty happy right now. But when it comes to football, man, I'm
I feel you,
going
man.
on the Robbie Williams territory, man. Like I'm isolating. I'm very sad about life and stuff. And my girl is like, "Hey, what's wrong?" I'm like, "It's not looking good, man. It's not looking good."
It's not looking good at all. I feel you, man. I'm feeling the same about my club right now, man. I'm on the verge of a breakdown. If we don't win our next game, I might have a nervous breakdown. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, real quick. What did you think about the game yesterday? Like before we start talking about Chelsea and like the main purpose why we're here. What do you think
Disgraceful.
about yesterday's game, man?
Disgraceful. The players were absolutely disgraceful, and there's no excuse for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a group of world class players. These players have won every single trophy there is to win, apart from obviously the League Cup and FA Cup. But we've won the Champions
Yeah.
League, we've won the Premier League, we've been to two Champions League finals, we've won the Club World Cup, the Super Cup. I know people don't really respect those trophies, but the point is, we've won everything there is to win,
Yeah. I
and
was
we're
about to say, man,
performing.
you sound like an Arsenal fan, man. You're talking about FA Cups, Capital One Cups, man.
Don't go too far. Don't go too far. These men celebrate the community shield, bro. But we've won amazing things with this team, and we've done not just the trophies, but I mean,
Yeah.
look at the points we've got and everything, and the records, and we play like that, and it's you can't just blame Klopp. I know a lot of people want to talk about Klopp and the system,
Yeah.
and we've been found out, but
Yeah.
being found out has got nothing to do with not being able to make a simple pass, not being able to control the ball when it's given to you, not being able to keep possession. That's got nothing to do with being found out. That's laziness, it's sloppiness. I do think the players are tired as well because these guys, like you look at players like Alice, Robertson, Salah, Trent,
Yeah.
Mane,
Yeah.
Ronaldo, these guys have played every single game week in, week out for like 3 years. So I get it. But I think I'm hoping Klopp gave them a serious talking to after that match because that is disgraceful. That match could be the match that cost us the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hey, you know what it is? It's like City now are 2 games in hand. They could go above you. United can go above you if they win the game. So it's gonna be a very tight thing, which is why I'm a bit worried about like the whole thing with dropping points and Lampard and I call them the Lampard inners, like to be nice, who think like, oh, the league is a mess. We can just suck basically and just keep sucking and we'll still be in the race, but it's looking like a lot of teams are gaining points other than us, which is scaring me. Going back into Chelsea, man, because that's the main reason we are here, man, to discuss the club that I love and the club that breaking my heart on weekly basis nowadays. Twice a week, actually, nowadays, thanks to
Yeah.
the whole thing. What do you think about the City game or the Chelsea game? Do you think it was the players? Do you think it's the manager? Do you think it's a whole? What do you think?
Do you know what? People have been saying the players let Frank Lampard down, and ultimately, look, it's deeper than that. It's people don't understand football. This is the difference between people that watch the game and people like us that actually
Yeah,
understand the game beyond the 90 minutes. The reason the players are not performing is because not because of Frank Lampard's decisions on the day. They're terrible as it is, but his decisions off the pitch, when his relationship with the players is clearly not great. He obviously has
hmm
favourites, and you can see that that's affecting the other players. His man management is terrible. His coaching is terrible. He clearly doesn't motivate the players, and you're seeing that in the game. And that's what I saw in the City game. Pulisic was unexistent. This was one of the
yeah,
this was one of the most promising talents of last season. When he came back from injury, you guys almost came back from 5-0 down against us because of Pulisic,
yeah,
and he's not performing. Ziyech, when you signed him, was on different source. He was looking like
yeah,
he didn't get into player of the week at one point,
yeah.
and he's not he didn't perform. Werner, I don't know what's going on with Werner. I think it has to be Frank Lampard with Werner because the reason Klopp signed him, well, sorry, the reason Klopp wanted to
Why
sign
not to
him,
sign him?
was because of his versatility across the front three. So this bullshit about he's being played out of position is rubbish, because he can play multiple positions. He's played on the wing, he's played as a second striker, he's played as a centre forward, he's played as a false nine, he's played as a target man. That's why Klopp wanted him. So the fact is, what's going on at Chelsea is a mess. I think the main, like I said, you got United fans and Arsenal fans who sit there and blame manager after manager and don't focus on the real problem. Whereas with Chelsea, this is the prime example of when the manager is the problem. Chelsea are not like United and Arsenal, where you've been declining for years. You haven't. You won a European trophy a couple years ago. You've not been declining for years.
And you know what? You know what, Oshe? I agree with you 100%. A lot of our fans are dropping our standards. They'll be like, "Oh, we're only 3 points behind," forgetting that the teams above us still have a game in hand. And from our form, and if you look going into the games coming in, it's insane, man. People are being overly optimistic for nothing. And about the City game, Pulisic and Giroud, two players that Lampard didn't even want to play last season. He was forced to play because Abraham was that bad at the end of the season. And Pulisic in the City game, he was just tracing shadows, man. And I feel like Ziyech was completely shut down with Pep's tactics, man. He was just holding those like two defenders against him, and he couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything the whole game. And instead of changing it, man, he just crossed his arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, because he hasn't got a clue. Thiago Silva, another one, was just completely non-existent in that game. Ben Chilwell wasn't great as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's playing Ben Chilwell. He's rushed him back from injury because he shouldn't be playing. He should have played Emerson, or even Azpilicueta could have done a job at left back. It's not great. And
yeah.
Like I said, ultimately the problems lie with Frank Lampard, and it's as simple as that.
As an outsider looking in, what do you think Lampard's biggest problem as a manager? Do you think it's his stubbornness? Do you think his loyalty to the system that isn't working, or do you think it's due to the loyalty to him to the players that he has, man? Or can you pinpoint what exactly you think that the issue is as far as Chelsea goes now with Lampard?
I think there's two issues with Frank Lampard. I think one of them is what you said, is stubbornness. I think he's a very stubborn man, because anybody with a brain cell can see that there's issues, and you're not even attempting to change them. No. So he's clearly stubborn, but the main problem is he's just not qualified. We can sit here and go and talk for hours about this, that, and the other, but it's simply he's not qualified. You've basically got a football player to come and manage a team he's recently just retired from. Let's not play games here. He was playing for Chelsea 5 years ago. That's recent. So, this guy's recently just retired from Chelsea. He's recently just retired from football. He was playing 3 years ago in the MLS. So he's got no managerial experience. He did 12 months at Derby and did nothing with them. And now he's gone to Chelsea. And I just think, I don't blame him, because of course he's going to take the job. He may never get this opportunity again. Of course, I would call him an idiot to not take the job, but he's just not qualified to do it, man. You've got a small fish and you've put him in a big pond, and he just doesn't know how to get around, and he doesn't know what to do, and it's sad, but he's not doing himself any favors. This is why he's not exempt from criticism, because there's been many managers in the same position as him, and they've tried to change the system. We see it with Mikel Arteta. As terrible as he's doing with Arsenal, you do see he tries to change things when it's not working. He changes the formation. He changes the system. When certain players are not on form, he'll drop them. And like I said, as bad as Arsenal have been doing, you do see Arteta attempt to try and change things, whereas Frank Lampard will continue to, it's insane. The definition of insanity is to repeat the same thing and expect a different outcome.
Exactly.
That is the definition of insanity, and that is what Frank Lampard's doing. I don't know if he's having a midlife crisis, because some it does. I'm not even trying to make a joke. Some players, when they retire, especially when they've had careers like Frank Lampard, it can affect them. It can affect them massively. You're talking about one of the greatest players of all time in the world, not just the Premier League, in the world.
For me, you see, a lot of people tell me, "Oh, Kai, you just don't like Lampard." No, I just don't fall in love that easily, man. I've been in enough relationships in my life to not fall in love with the first girl I see, man. That's just basically how it
Yeah.
is. And people
Yeah.
are like assuming that Lampard is this chance. Oh, we'll never see it again. Or blah 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 blah. Like, calm the fuck down, man. It's your
Yeah.
football club is ninth, and it's a scary reality because just like this from Matthew. Thank you, Matthew, for the chat, man. The 5 times we have had less in 28 years was 92. 93, 95, 96, 96, 97, 2001, 15, and 16. Every other season, we got more points than this season. Exactly. And the way the form that we have now, historically, it's similar to the 15 and 16 season. If you guys remember, we didn't even get to Europe that season.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying we're not going to get into Europe, but I think the reality of us not getting to top four, for me, it's failure. I don't give a fuck who you are. You could be Roman Abramovich, and you can be Roman Abramovich's son, man. Manage Chelsea, and if you fail to do your job, for me, you should be taken into like looked into it objectively, and not just being like, oh yeah, he's a legend. So what if he's a legend? We should play Europa League for the next 3 years
Look,
after.
you know what the
Yeah,
perfect saying is. You know what the perfect saying is. Arsenal created this saying, and it's actually really good. When they were talking about no, they did. They did. When they were talking about Arsene Wenger,
Yep.
DT said something, and he said it isn't Arsenal FC, it's Arsenal FC, and that is the same for every single club. It isn't Lampard FC, it isn't Chelsea Frank, it isn't Chelsea Terry, it isn't Chelsea Cole or Chelsea Drogba. It's Chelsea FC, and no
Exactly.
player, no matter how great they were,
This is
are
bigger
bigger
than
than
the
a club.
club.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. Look, I'm sure you do love Frank Lampard, like every Chelsea fan does. Of course, you're gonna
Yeah.
love him. He's what you can't not love him. He's done amazing things for your club, but you're not a player anymore. And when you was a
Yeah.
player, as much as I love Steven Gerrard, but at the end of the day, you was an employee of the club. Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you become Liverpool manager, you are another employee of the club. You're not bigger than Liverpool, and this is why.
That's exactly what I said to everybody. And you know what it is with me? One of my biggest issue with Lampard is the stubbornness, man. Our midfield has been failing in the last 5-6 games, but he's still insisting on playing Mount and and playing the Mount Kovacic pivot. I like the Mount and Kovacic. I like Kovacic, right? He's one of my favorite players. But him and Mount playing with each other just doesn't fucking work. They just go up the field and they just get like counterattacked like crazy. City were doing like hula hoops around us, man. Literally, and they were just standing there, and I'm like thinking to myself, "Hey, man, take that kid out and try
You know,
Kante." No, let me just one second. I'll let you just try something else. Try 4-2-3-1. Put Havertz as a 10, and leave Kante and Kovacic as a pivot. Why does this Mount has to start like every game? Like, what do you have against Kovacic, man? I get it. Kovacic's girl is a lot harder than your wife, but that doesn't mean that you can just keep benching him out, man. You know what I mean? It's getting to the point where it just like the stubbornness is gonna kill him. And if it kills him as a manager, I'm fine with it. But don't kill my club in the process. If something doesn't work, change it, man. Change it.
Exactly. You know what system would work perfectly for your midfield?
Yeah.
You know how Jurgen Klopp plays Wijnaldum as like a holding centre mid instead of more attacking.
Yeah.
That would work perfectly for Chelsea if Kovacic was utilised in that way. If a manager said to Kovacic, "Don't go forward, hold up play, break up play in the midfield. Kante will do the defensive job. You don't need to worry about that."
That's what he was doing under Sarri as well, and we had a much better midfield composition than we have now.
Exactly.
Like if you look at the statistics from the midfield under Sarri, it was much better than now. But the thing is, like I was watching this German analysis about the game, and I've seen both Kante, like Kante is by himself, or Kovacic and Mount push forward, and then you have like I don't give a fuck how good Kante is, and he's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. For me, he's like one of the best, if not the best DM in the world. But he's not going to beat those three midfielder playing against three midfielders by himself. And as much as I appreciate Mount's going forward and his pressing, his positioning isn't the best. A lot of the time, he leaves like Kante by himself, and teams get utilizing that. Especially when you have somebody like fucking Kevin De Bruyne, man, who's arguably the best CEM in the world, man.
I think the problem,
and he doesn't change it, man. And for me, I'm baffled, man. I don't know why doesn't he change the formation?
I think the problem, Kai, was you didn't sign a senior midfielder alongside Kai Havertz. So the problem you find yourself in is you've got both Mason Mount and Kai Havertz who are 20 years old, and they don't have that experience and that football intelligence to know not to make these certain decisions, which is why Mason Mount is brilliant going forward, but he doesn't. His positioning is terrible because he's young, and he will learn and he will get through that. But ultimately, I think what Chelsea should do, and I don't think they're going to do this, and I don't think it will happen. But what they should do, if you, because Jadon Sancho's a Chelsea fan, right? If you guys were to sign Jadon Sancho, play him on the wing, and play Ziyech as a number 10, because he's 27, he's a senior player.
You know what, Oshe? Sorry to interrupt you, my bro. We actually tried that when we had. I remember when we played against Southampton, we had like a perfect lineup, Like we had, we played 4-2-3-1. We were scoring goals for fun. Everything was doing fine, but we had that heavy, almost Canada-like tax with Kepa, man. That's how bad it was, bro. It's like we were just conceding goals like it's no one but fucking business, man. And then Lampard was like, "Oh no! Don't tell me Mount is not gonna play. Mount has to play. So we're gonna go to 4-3-3, and we're gonna get the best out of Mount." Rather than be like, "Okay, we'll take Mount out of the team. We will put Kante and Kovacic because obviously they're better like retaining the ball and defensively and winning the ball than Mount. And we just move Havertz. We keep Havertz as a 10, and we put Ziyech, Pulisic, and rotate between what's his name, Hudson-Odoi as well there, and then we just have somebody up top based on the opponent, because you can't just throw Werner in there like after our form being shit and play him as a 9, right? As the first game ever against arguably the best counter-attacking team in the fucking Premier League, man.
Yeah.
And then expect him to do miracles when he gets no service. Like if you watch that game, right? If you watch that game, you see Werner asking for the ball. Yeah. You see them like asking for the ball. And you know what they do? They're crossing to him. Literally, he was 2 meters away from Chilwell, and rather than give him a through ball, trying to utilize the space that City are leaving behind, he's crossing it. The guy is 2 meters away from you. Why the F would you cross it?
Do you know what it is, Kai? Do you know what it is, bro? I think you've signed some good players, but I don't think there was any plan. Usually when you sign players, you sign them for a reason. You sign this specific player because he's going to fit in this system and he'll link up well with this player, etc. I don't think that was done because Chelsea didn't have a philosophy. You just had Sarri and that didn't really work, and now you've got Frank Lampard. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I think the plan was just go out and buy these players because their scouts say that they're very good and they're big names and they score goals and etc. But there was no plan. I feel like you've just gone out and got a bunch of big names and put them together and said, well, this should work then. There was no real plan. You look at when Jurgen Klopp signs a player, he looks at every attribute of his other players to see if they will work together. That's why he signs players. That's why we signed Naby Keita. He's not worked out. He's been a flop. But when you look at him when he was at...
he had a lot of injuries, man. So I don't think it's fair to call him a flop because he didn't have the time to gel. He had a lot of injuries. And he did have good moments, man, as well.
He has had good moments, but I think he can be called a flop because there has been times when he's gone on a run of games and he's not delivered anything. But anyway, you look at Keita, for example. We signed him because of his dribbling ability, the way he dribbles a ball and he runs at defenders. And we thought, yes, that's going to work perfectly because we've got these attacking players that, you know what I'm saying? And that's why we signed him, because of the system. Whereas I don't think that was necessarily the case with Chelsea. I just kind of think it was like, well, Liverpool are interested in Werner and he scored 20 goals last season, so let's sign him. And let's go sign him.
I bet if he was under Klopp, he would be scoring goals for fun because you guys utilize the space well, use the midfield. You try to push your forwards forward and keep in the midfield organized. Chelsea doesn't do that. Chelsea just chase shadows and the ball like headless chickens, man. That's what it is. It's just chase the ball and expect the team to make a mistake. But if your pressing game is bad, if your midfield just leave it out of position, it just leaves space for teams to counterattack you, and that what happens. That what happens every fucking time. And what does he do? He just
exactly.
Oh no! It must be everybody else's fault other than Mount, even though Mount wasn't at fault for that third fucking goal. Try something different, bro. Like it's not that difficult,
Do you know what's a big red flag as well for Lampard, which I've noticed? His inability. Like, of course, look, you sign Werner. You want him to be the number one striker starting week in, week out. But if he's not performing, then you have to, take him out. And the problem I have with Frank is he's unable to realize when a player is on a good run of form. Why isn't Giroud playing week in, week out? This guy had hit a good run of form. I can't remember what did he score 1 in 3 or something. I can't remember what the record was, but
he saved us, man, last season. He
And
saved them. If
and
it wasn't
and
for him, we wouldn't have got Champions League. Because Tammy, at the end of last season, any Chelsea would tell you he was like literally he never played football in his life. That's what he looked like at the end of the season. And he didn't even want to give Giroud chances, but Giroud was threatened to leave, and he finally gave him a chance, and it paid off because Giroud was our best striker last season.
and I don't know why
Uh,
he's not playing. I don't know
he
why he
does.
doesn't play him more.
I honestly don't know because I think Giroud is like should be our striker based on form until like Werner find his form. Because as much like I do like Tammy, I think he has good, but I think his hold up game, man. I told you, man, the guy reminds me of a tall Scandinavian woman. He has no upper body strength at all, man. You know what
And
I
for
mean?
those
He
people,
needs.
and for those at home that are watching, Kai knows what a tall Scandinavian woman looks like, so he's talking from experience.
Amen, man. Amen. Exactly. And you know what it is? It's just. See, I like whenever Lampard came in, right, bro? I'm like, I'm not a big fan of this because I like Lampard. I don't want his legacy to be like tarnished based on like his managerial career. And people
Yeah,
were like, okay, let's give him a chance. Okay, it's a transfer window. Then we started moving posts for him. We was like, oh yeah, we lost Hazard, blah blah blah. Okay, no fucking problem with that. I'm happy with that. No worries. As long as we get Champions League, I won't bitch. Then we had all those players come in. Everything was doing good, right?
yeah.
The beginning of the season, Werner was scoring goal. He took him out. He took Werner out, put him on the wing whenever he was scoring goal as a center forward. Then he started playing Tammy, start putting Werner on the wing. Every Chelsea fan on this planet, people in the chat, you can back me up on this, my man. Werner looked like his body language was crap. He didn't want to play them, but he kept playing him. I rather take out, like as much as I want Werner to work out, I rather him not play at all than play as a winger, man. That's how bad it is, man. And I'm willing to give anybody a chance. Odoi was coming in, giving good signs, but he decided, hey man, I don't like Odoi. He had whatever allegations, he had COVID, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna play him. But he keep playing the team that he wants. He plays like Abraham, whatever. Like what does Odoi have to? Did Odoi do something to Lampard's to Lampard's wife? Like there have to be some deeper issue, man. A lot of people say, oh, it's racism, but come on, everything nowadays is considered like if it's not going your way, that someone considers racism somewhere, which I don't agree with. But at the
I'm going to
same
be honest with
time,
you, though, Kai. I'm going to be honest with you on what you've just said. Then, and I'm not trying to be too controversial, but I
yeah,
do think Frank Lampard, maybe not so much now because of his career, but I think. But I think when he started, he probably was. Yeah, you look at it, bro. Look at who his family is. Look at where he
yeah.
grew up. Do you know what I'm saying? So, is he a racist now? Probably not. He's played with black players for 20 years now.
Yeah,
So
but
he
what
probably
about
has.
Tammy? Tammy just because is Tammy just posh? That's why he likes him.
Because Tammy, because you know what, he's used to playing with big black strikers. So Frank Lampard's probably thinking he could be a good one.
Ah,
He could be a good one.
no. With all due respect to Tammy, man, Drogba was a fucking unit, man. That guy had muscles in places some people didn't have muscles, man. Lampard just have veins and vertebrae in places other people don't have vertebrae, man. Huge difference,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. But no, you know what though? I do think. I think he's looking at him and he's thinking about Drogba and Samuel Eto'o, and he's thinking because you guys haven't really had a proper striker since Diego Costa, really.
Yeah.
So it's I think he wants to. I don't know what he wants to do, man. I don't think he really wanted some of the players he got. Um, I don't think he ever really wanted Thiago Silva. I honestly don't
Yeah,
think he really.
Thiago Silva was a club signing, but Thiago Silva is arguably our best signing so far, man.
He's been your best signing so far, but
Yeah.
it was kind of a weird signing because you could have. I mean, I
Could have
don't.
got Hey,
Yeah,
I agree whatever you're going to say, Oshe. You know me. I wanted someone younger. I'm not a big fan of the stopgaps, but I would rather him coming in than us get somebody like. There were talk of Rice coming in and playing as a center back.
but
I swear
even
these
signing him,
Chelsea fans, man, they play too much FIFA, man.
but even signing Thiago Silva because you got him on a free anyway. So even
Yeah,
signing him and signing another centre back as well would have been fine, because the
yeah,
job Thiago Silva's brought in to do is still an important role. He's there to nurture these players and sort of guide them. So even if you were to sign, I keep throwing these names out, but like an Upamecano, for example, and Thiago Silva, that would
yeah,
have made more sense because he's going to build this partnership between him and Zuma or whoever, and Thiago Silva's going to nurture it. I think a
yeah,
big mistake, and me and you had this conversation the other day.
yeah, yeah.
The biggest mistake you made was not signing Jan Oblak in the summer. That was the biggest mistake you made. Although
Yeah.
Frank Lampard has been terrible, sometimes having a world-class goalkeeper can be the difference. You look at Alisson at Liverpool, and although we've not been on great form, just look at his career at Liverpool. Since we signed Alisson, we won the Champions League.
Yeah.
We had Van Dijk when we went to the Champions League against Real Madrid. By the way, people forget this. Van Dijk was playing
You,
for the club.
you remember when we were talking about it, yeah? And I was like, are we seriously replacing Courtois, who was arguably at the time the best striker in the world, with some kid from Athletic Bilbao, man? That's how I thought. The same moment I heard that, I was like, what the fuck is Chelsea doing, man?
But like I said, Kai, like I said, if you look at the Champions League final in 2018, yeah, against Real
Yeah.
Madrid, the reason we lost that final was because of Karius. We sign Alisson. That same season, we win the Champions League. This is the difference between a world-class keeper. You see it at Manchester City. Look at the difference between them from when they had Joe Hart to when they had Edison. It's the difference in a world-class keeper. And Mendy's okay. He's decent. I think he would start at maybe some mid-table clubs. I think be a great number two. I'd take him at Liverpool as a great number two.
Yeah.
But the expectations of Chelsea is to be competing with Liverpool and City. And to do that, you need a world-class goalkeeper. And the only world-class goalkeeper out there that is feasible
is Oblak.
is Oblak.
I would love Oblak, man.
You
I would
sign
love
Oblak, you automatically have the number one goalkeeper in the world on paper. You know my feelings about that. We've had this discussion.
Oh,
but on
but
paper,
apparently Lampard rather spend 75 on a West Ham player named Rice, man. This club sometimes, man, I just like. Do we really are gonna take the advice of a manager who his biggest achievement is getting us top four after 12 defeats and not getting Derby promoted, man? I'm not a fan of this. Like I want Lampard to work, but based on the fact of the results so far, should we even be giving him more players? If the players that we have now, he's not getting the best out of them, and then he's complaining about, oh, the team is struggling to gel. You know, give us time. We are so much ahead in the Hazard thing. That's so effing stupid, man.
Like I said to you the other day, Kai,
Doesn't make any sense, bro.
if he's not gone by the end of the window, you need to start worrying. Because I said at the beginning of the summer, a leopard doesn't change his spots. Roman Abramovich will sack Frank Lampard, and
apparently he's willing to give him time, man. Apparently he's willing to give him more time, and according to a few, like, see, the Athletic is saying that Chelsea are already looking for alternative, but the Telegraph with Matt Law, who is a Lampard sexual, let's call him that anyway. So he basically said that the Chelsea are giving him more time, but how much more time are we going to give him, man? Because if Spurs win, they're already going to be 6 points ahead of us. And City's going to, if they win the 2 games in hand, they're going to be 8 points ahead of us. United is already 7 or 8 points ahead of us with the game in hand. Same thing with you guys. So where is that top 4 is going to come from?
You run the real risk. You run the real risk of not finishing in a European spot this season, and I'm not even talking about the Champions League, even Europa League. There's a real possibility.
I think we will get Europa. I don't want Europa. I'd rather us not play anything, man, like we did in the 16-17 season, man. I honestly would rather that than play Europa League. I just can't stand that competition.
It's still a trophy, though, isn't it? I'd rather finish 7th and qualify than finish 8th.
Mo, you know you're my bro and everything, but if we keep him until the end of the season, we don't get top 4. What's the point of keeping him now? What's the point? What's the point? Do you know how important Champions League money is during a COVID epidemic, especially after we invested 250 million? I refuse to accept that. That's the best solution, to keep him until the end of the season. Based on the form now, if it continues, why should we keep him? We're just going to miss out on top 4. Like, sacking him is going to cost us like what, 5 million pounds? I'd rather get spend that 5 million pound than lose another 60 at the end of the window whenever we don't get Champions League football.
I heard that you guys are in for Allegri. I know you're not a fan of Allegri, but he's better than Frank. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, I would take the Southampton manager. I think he's better than Frank. I would take Ancelotti. I think he's better than. There's so many managers better. People are acting like it's people. No, people are acting like Frank is here and Pep is here and Klopp is here. No, my man. Frank is here, Pep is here, and Klopp is here, and here's the Southampton manager. Ancelotti is Mourinho's. People are acting like he is only the level below them. He's not. He's not the level below them.
I respect that. You put Klopp above Pep. I respect that. Yeah, you put Klopp above
right now,
Pep.
bro. You know me. I'm objective, man. Right now, Klopp is doing better than Pep. Right now he's better, but if you put like Lampard just the level below them, you're fucking deluded, man.
Let me get your opinion.
Deluded.
let me get your opinion on that, Kai. Yeah, just to sort of
Yeah, go ahead,
move
man.
topic slightly. You know this whole Pep Klopp situation, and there's another manager I want to bring into this, Zidane.
Yeah.
I think, I think first of all, I think Zidane is the better manager than Pep. I think he's the exact opposite of Pep Guardiola, but they
Um,
follow.
mm, mm,
You
I
know,
think,
why I say that?
no, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'll tell you why I say that, because when you look at their careers, it's exactly the same, but Zidane is better. Zidane played for Real Madrid, Pep played for Barcelona. Zidane was by
Yeah,
far the superior player.
yeah,
Pep Guardiola's first team in management was Barcelona, his previous club, and he won 2 Champions Leagues. Zidane's first managerial job was Real Madrid, his previous club, and he won 3 Champions League back to back and a La Liga. So
yep,
he's already doing the exact same thing that Pep did. It's mirror, but he's doing it better.
yep. But
So
I agree to that conversation,
he's
O'Shea.
doing it with
But
worse
I just
players,
can't
by the
accept
way.
it right now based on the trophies that one of them won and the other one didn't. If he does it, if he wins like more La Ligas, then I will start putting him in the same bracket.
But
But
he's doing it with
I don't
worse
know,
players.
man.
Though. Right, he's doing it with worse players. If you
Does
look at
Real Madrid have worse players than he won the Champions League when we have Ronaldo, and Ronaldo was in the form of his life.
Ronaldo is one player, Kai. Are you honestly going to tell me that the Real Madrid squad from
Yep.
2015 to 2018 was better than the 2006 Barcelona team with Ronaldinho, Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Messi, Samuel Eto'o, David Villa? Are you
Yeah,
honestly
but
going to tell
it's
me?
different. It's different eras, bro. I cannot compare because they never played against each other, man.
No,
At
so
that
bro,
like
what does this Real Madrid team have? It has an aging Modric, an aging Cruz, an aging Gareth Bale, an aging Benzema. Ronaldo
yeah,
was the best player in the world, but he was 33 years old. Come on, do
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? An aging Ramos. They were great, they were good, but
Yeah.
they were nowhere. Real Madrid team or that Real Madrid team was nowhere near the Barcelona of 2006. Not
No,
even
don't get me
close.
wrong. Don't get me wrong, Ushi. I rate Zidane. For me, it just I think I rate manager based on the longevity of 5 years going. Do I think Zidane is a good manager? I think he's a very good manager. I don't think he's a bad manager. I just think Pep has been doing it for longer, so that's why I'm just gonna hold him a little bit higher than Zidane for now
Yeah,
until he
right,
proves
right
me
now
like
on paper, Pep is better, of course. Right
yeah.
now on paper,
No,
he
but
is.
I've seen people tell me Lampard is better than Zidane as well. Lampard and Zidane are equal, man. Are equal, other
That's
than the
that.
Champions League
I don't
because
know who. I don't know who said that. I don't know
bro,
what drugs they're taking.
these I've said it 1,000 times. Oh, the Chelsea fan base, right? They're acting like, oh, Lampard is just below Klopp and Pep, and that's the only people that are above him, which is a load of dog shit. I'm sorry, it's dog
Ole Gunnar
shit.
Solskjaer is above Lampard. Ole Gunnar
I
Solskjaer is
think, yeah,
above Lampard.
I've said it 1,000 times. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is better than Lampard because based on the fact that when he fails, he changes. When something doesn't work, he changes. Look how many times he came from behind, and that's to me when a manager comes from behind to win a game, not draw it against teams like Southampton and West Brom and whatever. That is when I respect him as manager because the changes they made are the reason they won the games.
And
So
where does
that's why
that
I
come from?
respect Oli
Where does that
from
come from? Why
experience.
do
I've said it today on
exactly
the I said it today on the
exactly?
terrace, Oshe, man. The man has been doing it in 10 years in the slums of of the Norwegian league or the Dutch league or the Danish league. The man had experience. He suffered. He's been to the rock bottom. That's why he can go
Exactly,
up. I don't
exactly.
believe that you can just put a manager in the Premier League at fucking Chelsea Football Club, one of the
And
most
even
critical, like judgmental clubs in Europe, and if not the most critical one in the Premier League.
and even
It
with
doesn't make
Mikel
any
Arteta,
sense for me, bro.
and you can even see it with Mikel Arteta when you look at experience.
Yeah,
The fact that when you beat Chelsea, right, and then he beat who was it? Arsenal beat. They've won 3 games. He beat Chelsea. They beat who was it? I can't remember for the life of me. But anyway, when you talk about experience and being able to change a system when it's failing, that
yeah,
comes from experience, and you can
yeah,
even
yeah. That's
see
what
it.
I'm saying.
Like I said, you can even see it with Mikel Arteta because he's got that coaching experience under Manchester City. He's aware of what to do. He may not be great at it because there's a difference
Yeah.
between being a number two and being a manager, but he's aware of what to do because he's got that coaching experience. Frank
Yeah.
Lampard is worse than Mikel Arteta. If Mikel Arteta was at
Um,
Chelsea, he'd be get no, he no he. I tell you what, no, I tell you why he is because Mikel Arteta as a coach is very good defensively. Arsenal's
mhm.
defense is a lot better than it was last season. The reason Arsenal are performing like this is because number one, look at the players they've got, Kai.
Look at the
And the
squad. Yeah.
problem at Arsenal has been going on for years. If Mikel Arteta was at Chelsea, you would be performing better than you are now under Frank, because at
Yep.
least Mikel Arteta has coaching experience. That's what he's qualified to do. Frank has no experience. Do you
You
get where I'm
see,
coming from?
I get what you come, but I see, but like with other manager, the reason I rate them highly because I've seen them do well for other teams. Arteta has been doing bad at the one team that he was managing, so I can't put him above Lampard because I haven't seen him in another team doing well. If you understand what I'm trying to say, I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah.
Basically, we're just doing it based on guesswork because you never know if he's gonna come to Chelsea. Those players are gonna eat him alive, man. Literally, me and Arteta have the same fucking resume in football, man. Like, what did he win?
Well,
An
look,
FA
it's
Cup?
ifs and buts. It's ifs and buts.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's
So
ifs
I
and
cannot
buts.
I
But
cannot judge who's
I,
better. I think both of them are
I'm just
almost equal level, man. I don't think like one of them is better than the other.
no. Look. It's like arguing over who's the tallest dwarf, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
doesn't. It doesn't. It's not really
exactly.
worth arguing about. But I will pinpoint areas where I can say Mikel Arteta, even though he's not great, he knows. Even if he's not good at it, he's still aware of decisions. You look at Arsenal, as poor as they've been, every time a player's not been performing, he's not played the next match. He dropped
Yeah.
Xhaka, he dropped Bellerin, he's dropped Maitland-Niles before, he's dropped Aubameyang, he's dropped Lacazette. He's made these decisions. Even if it hasn't worked for him, he still had the knowledge and intelligence to attempt to make those decisions. And that is why, for me, I put him above Frank Lampard, because Frank Lampard doesn't even attempt to make the decisions.
Yeah,
Do you know
because
what I'm saying?
Frank Lampard, I think he looks at those players like father figures. He look at them like he's a father figure to them, rather than look at them
Because in his
as a
brain, in
manager,
Frank
man.
Lampard's brain, he's thinking to himself, this is my football club. This is my football club. I'm not an employee. I'm not a manager. This is my club. I'm a legend. All of these players will respect me. The fans will respect me. I get on with and that's what he's thinking in his brain. He's thinking it's just going to click because this is my football club,
No,
and he doesn't realize it's deeper
yeah,
than that.
yeah. No,
Um,
I think he reminds me. One guy on my channel said it perfectly, man. That he got all the bad attributes from Mourinho. The fact he blames the players for his failures. The other thing he does is he never take responsibility for anything. It's just like, you know what?
yeah.
I do think Lampard could be a great manager, but I just don't think the place to learn his craft is at a club as demanding as Chelsea, which is one of the reason because it cannot be an experiment for us. Like, he can't experiment using Chelsea for that, especially with the amount of young players that we have. If he had experienced players under him, like if he had the Drogbas, the Czechs, his own fucking self, then I would be able to give him that time because I know that those players already been to under other managers that they know where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do. But he has young manager who are looking for him for guidance, but he doesn't have that resume of management that require that job
And the
at a club like
demands,
Chelsea. You know what I
it's
mean?
almost worse for Frank. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and it's almost worse for Frank Lampard in a way, because you look at the demands of Chelsea and they're very, very high, but that those demands are automatically doubled because it's Frank Lampard, because he's the ex Chelsea legend, because he's the greatest Chelsea player of all time, because of who he is. That pressure is doubled because you're now expected to do a job because this is your legacy. So it's not a great position he finds himself in. Um, and yeah, like you said, I do think he could go on to be a great manager, but
Yeah.
right now it's not great. And unfortunately for him, he's kind of been given an opportunity. He's kind of been given this brilliant opportunity, but at the wrong time, because he's never going to get this opportunity again. Roman is not going to come back in 10 years' time and go, Frank, come and manage the club. Unless Frank goes to another
Yeah,
club and wins the
and he does
Champions
very
League.
well. Yeah, yeah, does
Yeah,
very
then
well.
maybe he will. But I- is that really going to happen? Probably not. And if he
I think he's
goes
very,
to
very stubborn, man. He's very, very.
exactly,
People said Sari was stubborn. Lampard is just as stubborn, if not more, man. He is very, very stubborn, man. And you know what really scares me with Lampard is the fact that people tell me, oh, he's learning on the job, or people are like, yeah, he still doesn't have his team. Give this team to any manager in the Premier League, they would love it. Look at that depth. Look at the depth of this fucking squad, man. And people are still saying, "Oh, it's the team. We need more players." No, you already have a very good squad that is valued really fucking highly, almost £1 billion fucking pounds worth, and you're not getting the best out of it. Why should we give you more players that you're gonna keep like failing with?
exactly. Exactly. And not only why should you give him more players, but why take the risk? Why put that player at risk? Why should we do that? Why not just sack you and bring in that player once we've got a new manager? Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you bring
No,
in,
no manager would want Rice at Chelsea. No other reason
I
for a
think Rice
starting
is a
post.
good player, man. I do think Rice is a
Do
good
you think
player.
he's good enough for a big club though, as a starting player? Be
Well,
honest.
see, you said starting, so that's the difference. I think he's good enough to be at Chelsea, but not to start week in, week out. Of course not. But I definitely think he's good enough for you to be at Chelsea and become something great. And he's perfect for that type of club. He's a young English centre defensive midfielder slash centre
Yeah.
back. He's perfect for a club like Chelsea, clubs like United. These type of he's perfect for those clubs. Maybe not as a number one starter, but to learn and to develop. But for the price though, it's quite a lot. They want 70 million, and that's a
70
bit.
million for. See.
It's like it's a bit. Come on, I have a day off, son. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, bro?
It's
Um,
it's
yeah,
depressing, man. People, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. We're going close to that 250 mark, man, and we're doing it so fast, man. We had like over 150 subscribers in the last 2 weeks, which is I'm very happy about. So keep supporting us, man. Keep sharing it with people. Keep growing. We want to grow fast, and we'll keep coming up
yeah.
with more content for you guys.
We we
Anyway,
we do this for you guys, man. We do this for you
yeah, yeah,
guys.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it is, man.
I really enjoy doing it, and I really enjoy coming up with content for you guys. Stuff that I don't get to talk about on the terrace as freely as I would like to. Chelsea related content that I love talking about, and I love discussing it with you guys. With the Chelsea show coming in and stuff like that. Just please support the channel, man, and we'll have a lot more stuff coming. We have
And
a top six show coming in that's gonna feature Oshe and other people from the terrace as well. So
yeah,
keep sharing the channel and help us grow. Help us grow.
and for any of the fucking snowflakes out there, it's a diversity quota because we have a black guy and a Middle Eastern guy. So it's it's
Hey,
it's it's
we have Indiana, who's a white guy as well.
as
We
well.
need we need an Asian man. We need an Asian. We need someone who's Asian, man.
What type of Asian?
Any
Chinese,
any
Indian?
Asians? I don't care. Anybody from Asia, man. Anybody like
Samuel, the Arsenal fan. He's
who is he?
Asian.
What is he?
He's from Pakistan.
We might get him. Hey, uh, why should I send him the link, man?
I want smoke for Monster. I got smoke for this guy,
He's,
bro.
he's gonna come. He's gonna come now, man. We're gonna have him on, and
I
Monster, my
got
boy, is
smoke
gonna.
for this Don fam. This
I've sent
old
you. I've
man.
sent you the. I've sent you the link, Monster, on Instagram, man.
This old man with no hairline. I've got smoke for this guy, bruv. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So talk to me, Monster, when you come on.
Hey, but you know what it is now. With Chelsea, I do think Chelsea should use the opportunity with like the season cutting off now, and we have an FA Cup to get another manager, man. I think my ideal manager would be either Nagelsmann or Tuchel because they speak German, they speak multiple languages, they're
Tuchel's just
very
been
good.
sacked, man.
He has been sacked because he had a lot of issues with the German with Leonardo from PSG. Yeah, I spoke to a lot of PSG fans who said that he's the best manager ever, man. And the only reason he was sacked due to the issues that they had with the thing. So but
I
I
think that's
would
a
have
risk,
him.
though.
I would have
His best
Nagelsmann
achievement is winning the DPL, the DFL, or whatever it is, Pokal.
and the two League One. You say that, Osha. I really
League
take
One
offense to
is,
people
bruv,
saying
League
that.
One is not an achievement, man.
Yeah, but he won what's in front of him. You can't
But
rule
it's
him out
still
because
not
he
an
won.
achievement, bruv. That's like saying that's like running a 100-meter race with a bunch of 12-year-olds and then saying, "Well, oh, I
You
run
say
what I."
that. Did you see what Leon did to Manchester City?
Anything can
I
happen
think
over a
the
90-minute
League One
period, but
can have good team. No, man, you can't just completely rule out his achievement but that's the clubs that he managed. He managed the clubs that he was managing, and he got results and he got trophies doing that. You can't just shit on him because he did it in a place that you don't rate. Put him in another players. In Germany with Dortmund, he has the highest win rate since even higher than Klopp had at Dortmund. But the fact is, people need to put into consideration the German league is also is like if you look at the budget that Bayern has compared to the rest, it's literally Bayern has more money, I think, than all of the other teams combined. People need to put that into consideration. I think Tuchel deserves a chance at the Premier League. He would do good. I would rate him, man.
maybe he should, but I don't know if Chelsea's the because
Would he do? Oh shit! Same thing I said. Klopp, Pep, Southampton, Ancelotti manager, Lampard. Lampard is not here like people think. Most managers who are experienced are
You
above
would put the
Lampard. People need to
Southampton
get that.
manager above Ancelotti.
I would put him above Lampard. Because for me,
Right,
he
okay.
showed to me he's better than Lampard. You know me, bro. I'm objective. I talk about like
Would you not put
managers and players based on stuff like that. I see them based on the numbers. We have
would
a
you not put
special guest,
Ancelotti above
man.
Pep, bro?
We have a special guest. I don't know how special he is based on if you like him or not. That's up to you guys. But we have Monster. Monster, what are you saying, man?
We
How are
have Giggs, ladies and gentlemen. Giggs is in the building. Yeah, Giggs is in the building with his new album, Pray for the Rivals.
Let the
Yeah.
man speak, bro.
I like the fact that he's not saying anything, yeah. Because listen, Monster, listen. Let me tell you something, brother. Yeah, you see all the shit
Monster
you've
is
been
waiting for you
talking.
to stop waffling, man.
You see, no, because he needs to hear this. He needs to hear, and I don't care if he's older than me. Yeah, he needs to hear this. All this shit this guy's been talking. Pray for your rivals, big man. Pray for your rivals. And what go on for that, bro? What God have you been praying to, big man? Because you must have been burning a cross and praying to Allah, fam. Because something ain't working, big man. Yeah, I don't know who you were praying to, but these prayers have not been answered, fam. You need the proof.
If our rivals are beating us, that means the prayers worked. What are you talking about? Maybe I shouldn't have been praying for the rivals.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because the rivals are getting the prayers. Cool answer, man.
What are you talking about?
You should start praying for us, Monster.
Don't try and switch it up, bro. Don't try and switch. You see how this guy's like, nah, bro. I was praying for them all along, fam. I was praying for them, bro. It worked, fam.
Anyway,
Bro,
man, let's go back to Chelsea, man. Let's
You
the guy
come with
talk.
this cocky. You come with this cocky, arrogant. Pray for your rivals, yeah. We're gonna win the league, fam. And look at his face, because he knows. You know what it is? Look at his face, because he knows that he's wrong, and that's why his face is like this. Now.
Master face
he
is a face of a beaten man. He had Lampard as his manager, man. You can't fault him, man. He just had high hopes for the manager, bro.
I'm getting flack for. I'm gonna say this now, yeah. I'm not gonna expose anyone or anything like that, but I'm in 2 group chats with some of the biggest guys on Chelsea Twitter and YouTube, and a lot of them are Lampard out more than you think. Do you get what I mean? I got added in them a few days ago.
Matisse, Lewis.
No,
I know,
no,
bro.
I'm
It's easy to tell, man.
I'm not mentioning no names, but a lot of them are Lampard out. Like, not even the guys you mentioned, but they won't say it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas me, I'm saying how I feel about the situation. I've not even said I want Lampard out now. I've said at the end of the season they should part ways. And I'm getting the flack for
too
it.
long, Monster.
Yeah, but there's no point sacking a manager midway through the season. I don't think there is a reason to.
I mean, if it's gonna save us to get in top 4, man, I think we should be doing it now. Now is the fucking time to do it. Because if the results continue this way, we might not even get Europa, man. Do you want to play Europa again, Monster? Do you like it that much?
I don't. I don't want to play Europa. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to play Europa, innit? But what can you do? What right now? What can you do?
We can get a Tuchel, we can get a Nagelsmann. Any manager would do better than Lampard. I've said this. People,
right
no, let me finish. Tuchel.
As for Tuchel, maybe Nagelsmann. I don't. Even if we do get him, I don't think it'll be midway through the season. I think it'll be end of the season. The reason why I said end of the season as well is obviously because if they do get rid of Lampard, there's a lot more options. If you sack him now and you go for a manager, there's not many options unless you bring in an interim. There's not many options out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Allegri's there.
Monster, we're saying that. We're saying that, Monster. We say that, right? But people are acting like Lampard is the level below Pep and Klopp. He's not, man. He's a level, 3-4 levels below them.
No, but
so I think any manager would improve on him, man. Honestly, hand to heart, like taking my Chelsea hat aside, right? Taking it off. Lampard is the worst manager I've seen in the Chelsea in Roman Abramovich era. Hands down, the worst. AVB was better than him. Played less games and have even higher like points tally. And people want to be like, oh yeah, but he had Lampard, blah blah blah. He didn't even like to play Lampard, man, because Lampard didn't want to play him. And look how that's biting him back in the ass, man.
Numbers don't lie.
So I think any manager right now, yeah, exactly. Men lie, women lie, numbers never lie, man. You can take your emotions and be like, oh, Kai is hating on Lampard. No, man, Lampard is hating on himself, man. Anyway, so any manager who can get us top 4 who's better than Lampard, I would take him at this point, at least for 1 year, just for us to be able to get that top 4. Because so far, I'm seeing suicide. I'm seeing Sunday League football, man.
No, but we don't need short-term managers now. Whoever we bring in, it has to be a continuation of a long-term project. We can't keep doing the short-term thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying Lampard shouldn't be out or whatever, whenever.
Is he the worst manager we had in the Roman era? Is he the worst manager? There you go, man.
Based on the stats, yeah, he is. But what I'm saying is, whoever we bring in next has to have a plan, has to have a vision. Do you know what I mean? It has to be something that we can work with long term. It can't be someone that's just going to be for now and then next season we go back to the same shit. It can't be that, man. Can't be that again. Like,
yeah,
we need to learn from these things, man.
No, but I've already told people, man. Clip this whenever it happened. If Tuchel came to Chelsea, we would see a completely different team, better style of play, and the players would perform better. People like to blame the players, and there's a huge fucking elephant in the room that is Lampard, and people are just walking around it, be like, "Oh yeah, Havertz is not performing, Werner is not performing, this guy's not performing." Well, there's something in front of you that is obviously the cause. We have a manager from Derby that doesn't know what he's doing. Every time he's faced with difficulties, he just crosses his arms. It can't go on, man. For the sake of Chelsea, we need to do something now. I refuse to just be passive about this thing, man. If we're going to be passive, we're going to get passive results in the end. We're going to be in Europa League. Or worse, we're not going to be doing anything. Arsenal are 3 points behind us, and they were in a crisis. If Arsenal are in a crisis after spending nothing, basically, what are we, man?
We're fucked.
Exactly, man. People don't take this shit too seriously, man. Ram, there is no link. It's a Chelsea chat. You're not a Chelsea fan. I don't want you on, man, unless it's a global chat. There you go, bro.
I swear him and Ram support the same team.
Yeah, but Oshe is not does just come here to banter us like Rams.
That's not fair, man.
Yeah, but Oshe is kind of like, I invited him on, man, for like a. That's what the show is called, like the outside view, because we want like a view of someone else. But yeah, Monster, what are you saying, man? What do you think? Do you think he's gonna win against like the next few fixtures? You think he's gonna get sacked? What do you think?
He has to win. He has to win.
Yeah, but has to. We were saying that for the last 6 games.
Listen, I don't know what to think right now, because at the end of the day, like, what I think might not be necessarily what's going to happen in it. I'm just waiting for the board to make their decisions or whatever in it. We just have to wait and see in it. I think who's our next game is against Fulham, right?
Yeah, but look at the fixture after. We have Leicester away.
We have Leicester. Lampard, to save his job, he's going to have to win those 2 games.
Wolves,
I think
we have Wolves.
This right
we have Spurs away as well.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Spurs away.
This right here is the definition of the fall of confidence. Monster has gone from pray for your rivals to let's just wait and see.
Finish his sentence, man. Let him finish his sentence.
Listen, at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Like, can we win? We should be able to win the Fulham.
We should be able to win. Yeah, you know what I saw today on Twitter.
I don't have much confidence in. Yeah, go on.
You know what I saw today on Twitter? Somebody said, "Oh, this squad is not good enough. Lampard need more signings."
It's bullshit.
It's insanity, man. They say, "Oh, he's only failing because he didn't get Rice that he wanted so bad."
No.
I'm like, give the squad to any other manager, man. They would get much better results. We are 30% worse than last season at the same games. 30%.
How many points off are we from last season? Is it 3 or 6?
I think 6 or 7 by now. 6 or 7. And people want to be like, oh yeah, it's the players. Why is Werner doing this? You know what? Just remind me. It's literally a reflection of Rory. If you watch his reaction, we're gonna do a live reaction to the Rory City thing. Like we have done before, man. You guys are gonna laugh. You haven't seen it.
Rory is
brainwashed. He's brainwashed, man. Yeah.
I heard him say, "Oh yeah, we were wrong to release Lampard when we let him go. It was disgraceful." It was like, bro, the guy was like, no offense to Lampard. Lampard was done when Mourinho. It was Mourinho that released him, innit? When Mourinho released him, he wasn't Lampard. Like, you had to let him go. Like, these lot want to keep him till he's got no legs left, like till he's dead and gone. Do you know what I mean? And then just some of the things he was saying is just nonsense.
Bro, I can't stand that. I swear, if he found Lampard with his girl, man, he would tuck them both together and be like, hey, I hope Lampard is marvelous. Enjoy the rest of your evening. That's the kind of guy that he is, man.
Yeah, but
hypocrite. He's a hypocrite.
They would, they're one of the guys that, they always say, they will be like, I saw a woman tweet, I think it was a woman, she tweeted out she would stay with Lampard even if he was relegated. And it's those type of people.
I saw that.
sentiment don't mean shit in a managerial game. Like, I don't care
Bro,
about sentiment. I know who
what you've
Lampard
just
is.
said there, Monster. What you've just said there is perfect. Sorry to cut you off, my bro. This
No, go on, go on.
sentiment means fuck all. And these are the arguments I have with Liverpool fans on my Facebook group on a daily basis. Oh, we can't wait for Gerrard to cut. No, what are you talking about? No,
Look at Chelsea,
I
man.
love Steven Gerrard. Yeah, I love Steven Gerrard. Of course I do. But you want this man to tarnish his legacy, because how are you going to go from Jurgen Klopp to Steven Gerrard, and all he's done is won the Scottish League? It's a great achievement, yeah, to dethrone Celtic, but do you know what I mean? And sentiment doesn't mean nothing. At the end of the day, these ex-legends are nothing more than employees for the club. When it comes down to it, as a manager, you're an employee for the club, yeah?
Exactly.
And you're not bigger than the club, and nostalgia and sentiment is not worth my club success. And it's as simple as that. And that's the same for any club, no matter what level.
Yeah. I mean, if people like, I said this on Football United TV, this is a long time ago, and I said I'm not a fan of Lampard being manager because I just think it could go wrong. I'm not a fan. I said at the time, I didn't even say Lampard. I said I'm not a fan of legends generally coming back to clubs because I think it could go wrong, and then people are going to start abusing them, and they're going to make it seem like it's tarnishing their legacy. And I said at the time I wasn't a fan of when Drogba came back the second time around. When he came back, but even though it worked out well, he won the league and the League Cup. It worked out well. In my mind, I was like, how can you come back after basically your last kick of the game for us was winning the Champions League? You can't beat that. There's no point coming back. But it ended up going well for him, innit? Then now with Lampard, obviously him being the legend he is, whether some people say he's the greatest player that ever played for Chelsea, some people would say it could be Drogba, some people could say it could be Hazard, some people could say it could be John Terry, innit? But it doesn't matter what you think. Yeah, he's one of our greatest ever players. That doesn't absolve him from, criticism or as a manager. It doesn't even make him a good manager. I think that's what the problem is. People make it seem that because of who he is, that's what makes him a great manager. No, it doesn't. Lampard hasn't even, before he became a manager, did he even go through managerial training or anything? Like, I don't even know about that.
Yeah, he has his badges. He was doing it well. He was, I think it was at New York or something.
Yeah, but okay, fair enough. But Lampard and Arteta, they've cheated the system in a way. Like, not like, that's what I call it. I call it cheating the system because they haven't gone and worked their way up to the top. They've just gone straight to the top. Do you get what I mean? So Lampard 1 minute was not a manager at all, and all of a sudden he's the manager of Derby, and then from Derby, after one season, is the manager of Chelsea. Arteta, 1 season he's an assistant, he hasn't managed no one, and boom, he's a manager of Arsenal. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. You have to work your way to the top. Look at Mourinho. Look at the way he worked his way to the top. Look at Klopp. Look at Ancelotti. Look at Guardiola. Guardiola.
That's how you grow as a manager, man.
Actually, barring Guardiola and Zidane, who obviously you could say they cheated the system as well. They went straight from academy manager straight to the biggest two of the biggest teams in the world, and it worked out. But obviously, what people don't realize as well, some of the players carried them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but Spain is kind of different, Monster, because in Spain the Barcelona B team is kind of like the second division kind of thing. It's not really youth
they play.
Teams,
Thank you for saying that. The Barcelona B team, the Real Madrid.
I think it's quite easy.
The Barcelona B team and the Real Madrid B team, they're actually in this. They're actually in Spain's. What's it called? Is it Segunda B or whatever they call it?
It doesn't matter, man.
They're in the Spanish second. They're in a Spanish second division, meaning they're in basically our championship. Do you know what I mean? They're not allowed to what do you call it? They're not allowed to promote. They have to stay there, innit? So, freaking. What do you call it? So in a way, they've had their own qualifications as well. But one thing is, they inherited some of the greatest squads known to man. Like fucking Guardiola had Ronaldinho, Eto'o, Deco, and all them, man. Obviously, he got rid of Ronaldinho and Deco and brought in Messi. Messi
Look at that little shiza, man. You Googled it, Ram. You Googled that shit, and now you're trying to act like you are smart. Get out of here.
He replaced, obviously, Messi was already there, but he made Messi the first team, like a starting 11 regular. He brought in Pedro and what's his name? Sergio Busquets, who he had been working with in the in the Barcelona B team. And then Zidane had a Champions League winning squad. He had fucking Cristiano Ronaldo, bruv, and Sergio Ramos. Those guys can coach themselves. Do you know what I mean? You don't even need to freaking Zidane to coach them, innit? But it is what it is, innit? Let's see if Lampard can do. I don't think he can. I don't think it's going to work out well. I think he will get sacked at some point. I just wanted it to be let him just run to the end of the season. Let's just give him that respect, and then we move on, innit? Do you know what I mean?
We differ a lot, man. For me, if we play like the next 5 games and he loses or drop points, and not even losses, we can't even lose. We can't even draw right now based on how the league is going. Yeah. So if we draw 2 games, 3 games, I think we need to try something different. I don't want to miss out on Champions League, especially in COVID, especially after last year. We have like a healthy like revenue stream, you know. We were in the positive. I don't want us to fuck it up, you know, but just because Lampard wants to keep the same midfield, man, for the rest of his life, you know. Did you rewatch the game, Monster? Did you see how crap our midfield was?
I couldn't watch that game again. Normally I do. Normally what I do is I watch the game twice. I watch it obviously live, and then which is with emotions, and then I watch the second time without emotions to see where we went wrong or whatever and this and that. But the way they outplayed us, there was just no point. I could see it live with emotions, without emotions. I could see what it was.
Look at the third goal. Kante was by himself because both Kovacic and Mount were pushing forward. So Kante against De Bruyne, Gundogan, all these guys, he is not going to win that passing game. He's basically going to chase shadows, man.
Yeah,
and people are blaming it on Kante, man.
I guess the only thing Kante could have possibly done, but I don't blame him for, is maybe he could have cleared it out.
Broke his leg or something. Yeah.
No, just cleared it, like just put the ball out for a throw or something. But even in the moment, you're not really thinking that. You're just trying to get the ball back into the...
Yeah, but he shouldn't be, just because he's a DM, he shouldn't be facing like the midfield by himself, man.
But that is managed.
System, our system, man.
Yeah,
do you think we need to try something different? Do you think we need to try something different with the midfield? Maybe try 4-2-3-1 now, like, you know, because it was working until that Southampton game when we had a bunch of injuries with wingers, and he reverted to that 4-3-3. You know,
Lampard tried last season. He actually beat Man City with his 4-3-3, but he used Barkley and Mount. This season, they had numbers in midfield. They outnumbered. That's where they got us. They outnumbered us.
Yeah, but it's not the first game, man. It's like for the last 5 games we've been outrun in the midfield.
Yeah, but Man City do it way more effectively because their midfield.
Yeah, because Kevin fucking De Bruyne, man.
Remember, they played a false 9, meaning that false 9 drops back into midfield. Yeah. And that's where they got us. That's where Lampard went wrong. He obviously didn't make no changes early enough to, you know what I mean? Ziyech as well. Ziyech, although, you know, he's going to be great at that moment in time, we all
give Adoy a chance for me.
We all knew Ziyech wouldn't be fit for that game, innit? He wouldn't be up to speed. Do you know what I mean? You have someone like that, you bring them off the bench. He hasn't played for a while.
Yeah, do you think he should have gone with Pulisic and Adoy as wingers since Ziyech was, because Ziyech looked unfit. He looked unfit, man. He looked like he was training for only 3 days.
I'm not gonna fully blame Lampard for
because it is our strongest attack.
I'm not gonna fully blame Lampard for making that mistake of bringing Ziyech on. I'm not gonna just go at him for that. I'll go at him for other things, but I'll allow him for that because he tried to field the strongest team he felt.
But for me, he needs to try something different with the midfield, man. That Mount Kovacic, doesn't work.
I don't think he has the personnel.
Don't be one of those people, man. Come on, man.
He doesn't have Chelsea's midfield is not good enough to control games.
And do you think Rice is gonna control games, man, for us?
I don't know. I don't even, bruv. You've heard me say Mount.
Yeah, I know you want. You're the same as me. We both want Zakaria in here, man.
I'm not saying Rice is the guy, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie as if our midfield is good enough to control the game. It's not.
But we're not helping it. We're not helping it if we're playing the way that we're playing, man. Because Mount doesn't have the best awareness whenever we're out the ball.
So maybe Lampard needs to, because I said it already. I said if they're gonna play this 2-8 thing, unfortunately we don't have the midfielder who's gonna control midfield, because Lampard wants to control the game and things like that. We don't have the midfielders for that. Jorginho is not the guy, you know. So we might have to move to counter-attacking football, bro.
Right. It would fit our team better as well.
Yeah, we might
because
have
we
to
have
switch
those
to that.
spacey attackers. No, for me, the system is the biggest issue. I don't think it's that much. Yeah, the personnel has something to do with it, but I think a good manager would get more from this group of players using a different system because he's reliant on Mount. I think he needs to try something different that doesn't involve Mount. So try different combinations because we've been getting destroyed in the midfield for some time now. I think we need something else. Like
Listen,
I don't want to sound like David now, but we do need to try something without Mount in it. Try something
if,
different with the midfield.
you know me, I think Mount's a very good player this season. I think he's been one of our best players this season.
Last 6 games, he's been shocking. Let's be honest.
He has, but he has been one of our most consistent players. Like, okay, last 6 games he's been shocking, bro. There's been games where Kovacic has been shocking too.
I agree. I don't disagree with you. I agree.
There's been games where Havertz has been shocking. Do you know what I mean? If I'm to say out of the three, who's been the most consistent, it's him. It's Mount. Do you know what I mean?
But he played the most games as well, man. So it's easier to be.
Well, I hear that. But he has been the most consistent. Whether you want to say it's playing the most games or whatever.
But do you think it's time to drop him now? Because he's showing like signs that game after game that he's struggling, whatever it is, fitness, his fatigue, whatever. But do you think he needs to be dropped now?
The FA Cup game, put him on the bench. Maybe even the Fulham game, put him on the bench.
What if we draw that game or lose it?
If we do, innit? But yeah, he needs to be like, you don't want to run him because I think last season there was a time where he ran to the ground, like he looked done, and Lampard just kept playing. And so because I do you know what, with Mount, I don't wish this on him, but I would say that, if we're not careful, we could risk losing him to a big injury because of the way Lampard's running him to the ground.
Yeah.
Do you know
what already happened with Reece. The way we handled the Reece injury, for me, it's a disgrace, man.
But
the guy was injured and we let him play, and now he's gonna be out for the next month.
Yeah, so you have to be careful the way, like, Lampard's management skills is.
Yeah, it's shit. You can say it, man. We have no filter here. You can say whatever you want, man. It's shit.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's that simple, man. And what do you think about Aspi lately? Oh shit, I would like you also answer that. What do you think about Aspi lately? He's been man is losing his legs, man. See, I don't know if it's because he didn't play for a while.
He hasn't had.
He was getting destroyed, man.
He hasn't had a run.
Bro, you need to remember, Aspilicueta is getting old as well, bro. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not exactly a young buck anymore. Do you know what I mean, bro? Like, he's not.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think age is hitting him. I think, but at the same time, we were playing the same way we would with Reece, trying to do it with Aspilicueta rather than change something, man. Which just shows me he's just changing personnel rather than change the system to fit those players, which for me is a very alarming. It's scary that he's doing that.
You need more depth in defense. I do think we need more.
Like we played Werner up front, but we still cross into him.
One thing I would say though is because a lot of people go at Mount, but I would say like when Mount's not playing, our press doesn't look as effective. I would say that you could just see there's something missing with that press. And I'm not saying obviously we have to play someone just for the press, but I don't know.
But at the same time, with all the pressing we're doing, when is the last time we scored a counter-attacking goal, man?
I don't know. Foden is what Chelsea think. Listen, out of the bunch, I think Mount.
Foden is better, man. You can't even argue.
There's obviously, we know the bunch. The bunch is Maddison, Mount, Foden, Grealish. I think the three other guys I mentioned, I do think they all are better than Mount. But Mount's a very good player as well. So, do you know what I mean?
Maddison would actually be a great player for you to sign because he can play as a number 10, but he can also play as a winger. And you like to play Mount on the wing a lot for some reason. And having that versatile midfielder where you can do that if Pulisic is injured or Ziyech, etc., you can swap them around. I think Maddison would be a great player for Chelsea.
For me, I would rather go to a bit more somebody who's more controlling, like Zakaria.
Give me Grealish, bro. I'll take Grealish.
Would you take Grealish? He's not gonna come to Chelsea.
Bro, Jack Grealish is going to one place and one place only, and they have a little red devil on their shirt. And do you know what I mean, bro? Like that's happening.
I don't think he's going anywhere for now. I don't think right now he's going. I don't think for now because he just signed a new big contract. I doubt he's going anywhere soon.
Yeah, but he's only 23, so he's got a long time left.
The guy, you know what? I've not even realized how long Jack Grealish has been around for. He has been around for years, bro. He's actually been around for quite a while. But he's so talented, man. He's so talented.
He reminds me of Hazard, man.
He's 23. He's young, man.
Similar build.
He reminds me of Hazard as well.
Yeah, he's similar build, good dribbling, He's also a thick boy as well, man. So he keeps the ball with using his body. He doesn't lose it.
It's the low center of gravity, and he draws fouls very easily. You saw against us, it was very frustrating.
You guys are sleeping on Kai Havertz. That's not true. I rate Kai Havertz fucking highly, man. But I said the only way we'll see Kai Havertz is we have a manager who knows where he's gonna put him. Because he's a very systematic player.
We're sleeping on Kai Havertz. We haven't even said anything about Kai Havertz.
Bro, that's sometimes people are like that, man. They just assume. And if you know me, you know how much I rate Ziyech and Werner, man. So our press is terrible with or without, man. Hey, our press, it's not. I don't think it's our press that is. I think the system, that what we do with the ball after we press, after we get it, is what scares me. Havertz under a new manager, he would the best. Yeah, I agree. I think I said this before. I want to see what this whole team does under more experienced manager.
I don't know about in the world though. I don't know about being the best in the world, but
no, not in the world. I said he's one of the best youngsters in the world.
Yeah, but he's just said in the world, and I'm like, I don't know about that, but
Havertz best in the world. Kevin De Bruyne is still alive, man.
Havertz will come good.
Yeah, he will. I believe in him. I think he's a very good player, man. It's basically Kante versus 11 players with our midfield. Yeah, it is. It is basically 11 players.
They didn't help Kante out at all.
They didn't. And then the Chelsea fans are like, "Oh, we should sell Kante. He's not doing well. We should get Rice." I'm like, bro, look at that giant fucking elephant, man. You're ignoring it. You're just brilliant. We have a manager who's like the highlight of his career is Derby, man. You can't just be that deluded, bro. But the problem is some of us, when you're emotionally in love, you just stop seeing everything that goes around you. That's how Chelsea fans are with Lampard, man. And it scares me. People, we have 54 people watching right now. Please subscribe and like the video, man. We're growing rapidly fast, man. To the point that YouTube just shows me growth as 999. I never knew there's 999%, man, on a weekly basis. But there you go. Keep liking and subscribing, man. Share it with people, with your mom, your grandma, your dog, your cat, even your nan. If she has nothing to do, share it with her as well. If you have any questions for any of the boys, man, send them in. We'll answer them for you. Do you think Mozonda Jr. can play as a 10? Maybe on FIFA?
No, he can. He can also play on the wings. I really thought there was going to be a combination between Musonda and Hazard. I can't remember what Carabao Cup game was, but the guy's got mad composure as well. I can't remember, was it against Crystal Palace? What game was it? I think we ended up losing or drawing that game. He should have scored, but the way the composure he showed in chesting the ball down, even though he hit the ball over, the composure he showed in chesting the ball down from across and hitting that ball, he did miss it. It just showed you how great of a player he could be in it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to just get your opinion on something. Yeah, in the background, I've got Sky Sports News on, and Mauricio Pochettino's doing his first conference as PSG manager. I kind of feel like he's taking the easy way out, because he's never won a trophy, and he's just kind of thinking, well, it's a lot of money. I'm guaranteed a trophy, because it's not like a club that's going to win the Champions League. I know they got to the final last year, but they're not going to win the Champions League. It's not like a Juventus or a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich.
This cup competitions, you never know, man. It's not always the best teams that win it. Sometimes you just you have one night off.
They're going to win the Champions League. Let me rephrase it. Then I don't think they're going to win the Champions League. It's not a Juventus or a Bayern Munich or etc. And it's a lot of money. And there's always been this thing around Pochettino as he's never won a trophy. He's desperate to win a trophy. And he knows he's guaranteed a trophy at PSG. He knows he's going to win the league with PSG. He's good enough to do that with the players he's got. Do you not kind of feel like he's taking the easy way out with this job?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a job during COVID, man. As a family, I wouldn't blame him to get it, Also, it's a lot of money.
Don't forget, David, he was there in the summertime and no one picked him up. So why can't he go for it? What? So is he supposed to wait again?
Who's David? Wait a second. Who's David?
Oh, shit. I call you David.
Hey, I saw yesterday Ty calling Terry Tom, man. So,
Yeah, Oshe. He was waiting in the summer. No one hired him. Like, say Man United don't fire Ollie, Chelsea don't fire fucking Lampard. Where's he gonna go?
True. I just,
Those are the
I
main
think
places
United.
where he could have
I
gone
think
to.
there's a few teams out there that could have got him. No, there's a few. Like if Chelsea sacked Lampard, which is inevitable, he would be in for the run in there. And I don't think especially how he was sacked from Tottenham. I don't think that love, like I would never join a rival, is there for Poch. There's several clubs out there that he could have gone to, but I kind of feel like it's the easy way out to go to PSG.
Yeah, but it's money. Maybe he wanted a job, man. I never. The only thing I criticize him for is he's the fact he didn't get a trim when he did that interview, man. Man looked like he was growing his hair the whole time, man, through lockdown. It's like he was not ready for that interview, man.
Yeah, man. Pep Guardiola's on my screen, man. I feel sorry for him, I know he's my rival, but I feel peak for him. I feel bad for him, man.
You feel bad for
Did you guys see the Sky Sport interview?
Okay, if he wins these outstanding games, he's clear of you,
Yeah,
I know.
That's what I said to him in the beginning.
It's deeper than that, though. It's deeper than that, bro. Guy's just lost his mum, bro. Like that's deep,
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And like that's a big reason for why City weren't performing as well this season at the beginning. Like that is a big reason as well. So
yeah,
I kind of feel peak for a minute, but.
Did you watch the interview on Sky Sport, man? Whenever they were talking about Lampard, saying, "Oh, he should have got the job 10 years from now, not now." Basically, they're saying he's Lampard out, but they just like rephrasing it nicely. They're doing him a tease, man.
A lot of them are Lampard out. A lot of them are. They just don't want to say because they don't want to lose followers.
I'm talking about Jamie Carragher, man. Jamie Carragher and was it Gary Neville? I don't remember who it is. It was on Sky yesterday. I'll send you the link, Mas, if you want to see it. But basically, they were saying, "Oh, Lampard, the job is too big for him right now. He should have got it 10 years from now."
How is that even a question? Eto'o is miles better than Shevchenko. What are you talking about? That's not even a question. Guy just said prime Eto'o or prime Shevchenko.
That's a question. That's a prime Shevchenko's a Ballon d'Or winner. Don't forget that.
That's a question for you, Oshe.
That is a good question. Prime Shevchenko, prime Eto'o is a good comparison. I think prime Eto'o and prime Zlatan, that's not a comparison. That's straight Eto'o.
Zlatan.
No, straight Eto'o.
Zlatan, man. For me,
I don't really understand the question, Abdi. You're saying if you put Lampard in the Liverpool team, I don't really understand the question.
No, they confirmed yesterday that it's not going to be cancelled. It's gonna all the elite sports will resume, continue.
Yeah, elite sports.
If he's asking if I think they would have won things, then yeah, of course. If Lampard played with Gerrard at Liverpool, we would have won with Xavi Alonso as well. Come on, of course we would have won trophies. We would have won more than what we did. We probably would have beaten Milan again in 2007 when we played them in the final. You know what I mean?
That Milan team that beat you lot, that one was with prime Kaká and Gattuso playing DM and who else? And Zaghi was balling out.
Monster. He was 5 years old when it happened, man. I don't know why he talking like he saw it.
That was I watched that because Liverpool beat.
No, not you. Rams.
Liverpool beat us in the semi. They beat us in the, was it the quarterfinal or semi-final on penalties?
Bro, Eto'o, why do people still? Me and Monster have had a long conversation about Samuel Eto'o before. I don't know if you remember, but we've had a long conversation about Samuel Eto'o, and I don't get how people can. He's great. He's one of the greatest of all time, but like people need to stop doing these matchups, man. Like it's just Shevchenko, Eto'o, no, bruv. Like it makes no sense, man.
Wait, Shevchenko, Eto'o, I think it's a good comparison. I actually do. Like in their primes, I think it's a good comparison. We'll talk about a Ballon d'Or winner.
So you think it's a good comparison, but you wouldn't hear my opinion. You wouldn't hear it when I said to you that I prefer Drogba to Eto'o as a big game player.
But we even as when you said big game player, we saw Eto'o's stats in the big game as well, and they were almost just as good.
But then when we had the conversation,
Eto'o is a big game player as well.
When we had the conversation, though, I explained to you there was context. This man won trophies against Arsenal.
Rio, man.
Who? Drogba.
No, Terry.
Yeah, Drogba.
Yeah, and Eto'o won trophies against. I remember Eto'o scored against Arsenal in the Champions League final too.
Sack of potatoes, hand down, Winter Surfer.
Remember?
Sack of potatoes.
Remember?
Now, what did you just say a second ago? Not you, Monster. Did you, Kai? Did you say Terry? Nah, Rio Ferdinand is better than John Terry. Don't piss me off, man.
Dog shit.
Don't.
Dog shit.
Rio Ferdinand.
Terry's better, man. Terry's better.
Listen,
I love Rio for what he done in my area, and he used to mentor us as kids. I've met him a few times as well. I love Rio. You know what? I'm just not going to do the comparison minute because I do have a bias.
Come on, man, Monster, you're doing that, man. But you can have the comparison between Gerrard and Lampard.
I know you're a fan of your Aryan brother, yeah, but John Terry is
Jesus Christ, man.
he's not. Listen,
You're gonna get.
He's not the. Ferdinand
I've met. It's because I've met Ferdinand, and he's done great things for our community, innit? So that's why I love him, innit?
You tell him you're a Chelsea fan, Monster.
No.
There you go, man. Monster, you're one of those people, man. It's like, hey, Rio, give me an autograph. Yeah,
listen,
you get this autograph.
Listen, we're talking about
Rio won more things with United as well, by the way.
We're talking about two of them are on. To me, they're on the same level, innit? Do you know what I mean? They're on. You could whichever way you go, it's not disrespectful to the other person. Do you know what I mean? Whichever one you go with. So it's not disrespectful to say Rio's better, and it's not disrespectful to say Terry's better because it's so close. Do you know what I mean? They were so great at their best. Do you get what I'm saying? So
I hear you.
To me, it doesn't make a doesn't. Yeah, to me, they're on the same level. They're on the same level, man.
Yeah.
I will respectfully disagree, but yeah, there we go.
Jesus Christ, man.
What was that last one, Kai? Yeah. What was that last one?
Which one? This one?
The one before.
What, Prime Crespo was Prime Torres? That's a good one, you know.
Torres.
You know what? Fernando Torres in his first 2 years at Liverpool was the most lethal striker in the
You gave us a broken. No, we can have a word.
I hear
you gave us a broken player, man.
I hear that, but I remember Crespo at Inter Milan before he came Chelsea. I remember Crespo's first season at Chelsea. The reason why it didn't work at Chelsea because he was homesick. He didn't like English weather and everything. But when he went back to AC Milan, he was deadly there too. And for Argentina, he was deadly, bro. You know
Can I just say, yeah? Can I just say,
we saw Torres. We didn't necessarily see Crespo. If you didn't watch the Italian league in those days.
Let me just say something. Yeah? I'm not taking responsibility for Torres, you know, bruv. You man chose to spend 50 million on this Don in 2011.
We could have got Aguero, man.
Bruv.
Well, you
that's not.
Okay, you not knew he was dead. Like you
knew. You gave us a broken player, man.
But
we can sue you guys.
Knew, he was done. He was done. It wasn't like a hidden fact, bro. He had a massive injury and he didn't fully recover. In 2011, spending 50 million was like spending 150 million today. That's on you, man. That's not on us. That's on you.
No. When you go to the shop, right, and you buy something and you found out it's broken, you can give it back, right? Because you bought it broken, man. We can.
Okay, but if you buy,
we literally should have sued you, man.
Yo, Kai, bring up Mo's comment. The one he said it's sad how people think Lampard is blah blah. Yeah, you see this here. What it is that Lampard didn't do apart from the goals. Lampard didn't do the other things as good as the other guys. That's why people think he's just goals. He wasn't just goals. He could, pull out freaking 40-yard passes and shit like that as well. It's just that he wasn't as good at doing those other things than the likes of Gerrard and Scholes, innit? But
so in their prime, he was better, Monster. Just one question. I don't want a big long thing. Gerrard or Lampard?
Lampard.
Just Monster. Just Monster.
Bro. I'm not answering that question.
Monster, answer the question, big man.
I ain't answering that.
Hey, regardless of how he answers it, Gerrard wanted to come to Chelsea and you threatened his life. Anyway, on that note, man, we're gonna end the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel, man, because we've been doing great things.
Mo.
The way we've been growing, man, is insane.
Lampard was not more talented than Gerrard. Like, stop. I don't like. Stop it, bro. Well, go on, Kai.
Yeah, people, share it, subscribe, like the video. We're gonna keep coming with this kind of like different types of shows. Ram, you are never coming on my channel unless I have a Chelsea show and unless I have a Liverpool show. Other than that, you know how the hustle is, man. And Bits and Bob, man, I'm gonna have you on, man. I promise, I'm gonna have you on, man.
So
anyway, people,
you can't bring on Ram. Jeez.
Because Ram just waffles, man. He just waffles about players he never watched in black and white, telling me, "Oh, I remember that 2004 when he was literally shitting himself as a 5-year-old, man." So I'm not gonna have that lies on my channel, man. I'm not supporting those. Anyway, people, take care and enjoy the rest of your day.